Hi, thanks again for tuning in to David Campervan Man. This is another video. I'm going to do a heater with a leisure battery on one of my friend's vehicles. So hopefully I'll be able to show you this in as much detail as possible. I'll have to be taking out the front seats and the cab mat and a number of underbody trims. So let's get going. It's a nice big van he's got actually. Maybe not relevant to the video, but it's just interesting to see all the different vehicles and specifications. I think he's added that steering wheel in. He's got the Comfort Spec dash and DSG, of course. So front seats, two single front seats, they've both got to come out because I put the leisure battery under the passenger seat there, and the heater will come out at the bottom at that seat base of the driver's seat, and I'll have to remove panels underneath the vehicle. Handbrake will also have to come off, and the cab mat, and I see he's got, it's not the rubber mat, he's got the carpet mat, so that's a little bit more difficult to take out. It's just a bit tougher to handle. But yeah, I've done it before, so no drama there. So this is the driver's side front. I will be jacking it up around here, and these plastic trays underneath, I don't know if you can see that there, sitting quite low. I think he's had it lowered. They'll all have to come off just under the seat sort of area. I think, unless I'm very much mistaken, I think that under tray's broken. I will tell them about that. They're not cheap, these ones. They break all the time. I replace these all the time on these vehicles. Dozens and dozens of them I've replaced over the years. So, but they do an important job actually in that position, because they will be giving some protection to the heater. So I'll maybe just order one of them. Good, so not an awful lot to see there, but yeah, you should get the picture when it's all done. All right, that's the vehicle jacked up, all four wheels off the ground. A sharp-eyed amongst you will notice that I moved it slightly. It was just too close to the shelving units, not going to give me enough room, because I need to move, or rather remove, the fuel tank, which is under there, under the passenger side, the left hand side. So I need to drop that down in order to get a fuel line in for the diesel heater. So I need reasonable access. I've not got great access, but I'll cope. I prefer working outside if possible, but it's cold just now and a bit wet, so it's not very nice. So it's nice to work on a smooth floor for a change. Good, so I will crack on with removing the under trays. I think the passenger side one's broken as well, so we'll see how we get on there. All right, so there we are. That's the two under trays. Well, it's actually three just now, but it should be two because that one's broken quite badly actually. So we have to take them off obviously to fit the heater under, and because we're going to move the fuel tank, drop the fuel tank, that one's in the way for that. We need to take the AdBlue pipes out of the way for that. So yeah, I think we're going to have to get one of them. This one we could get away with, but it's better to give the protection that the vehicle needs. Right, now that those under trays are off, I'm going to tackle the fuel tank, because like I say, I need to get the fuel line in, and I have to take this little black moulding off, and I need to take the AdBlue pipes away because they get in the way of the fuel tank spout. They are awkward and I hate doing that job, but it has to be done. And yeah, it's worse in the cold as well, because everything's a wee bit less pleasant to touch. But yeah, there's not too much involved with it, it's just a faff. All right, that's the AdBlue pipes off, and the cap and the little shroud for the fuel tank and so on. That was less arduous than I remembered, but yeah, we are now ready to lower the fuel tank to get the line in. All right, so that's the fuel tank moved just enough for me to get my line in there. That's the sender unit on top of the tank, and I will give it a clean up first, and then we'll put the line in. Before we put the line in, I should open the box. This is what we call an autotherm or planar heater, and I got it with the programmable controller. Costs a little bit more, but well worth it if you want to be able to set up some timed programs. It's a nice looking thing. Haven't decided where I'll put that yet. Probably possibly up on that side panel there. Probably the best place for it. So just wiring them. I've noticed that the planar heaters, the quality of the kit is really good, and every planar heater I have fitted has worked straight out of the box. It is nicely packaged, and there are plenty of parts. Instruction manual, fuel lines, fuel pump mounting system, clips. I think that's the wiring connector for the fuel pump. Even more mounting point clips. Exhaust muffler. Now these heaters I believe used to be made in Russia, but they're not Russian anymore. I think it's Latvia. Lots of wiring looms, and in my opinion the wiring looms, they're well protected, so you don't have to add any extra protection. And this here is good. It's a heat shield, handy because the exhaust does pass near some plastic pipes. That's the fresh air intake for the actual heater. And this it's difficult with one hand. That's the unit itself. Now I have had experience of fitting the Chinese heaters as well. The Chinese heaters are, you know, twice the size of this, so this is much easier. And that there, that's a bracket, really easy to fit. I'll show you how to fit that. And that there is our next item to fit. Well, our first item to fit really, because we've just been removing stuff so far. I will need to cut it, but we'll do that properly as well. There it is, the fuel pump, and that there is the exhaust pipe. There's a sort of end piece on it just to stop, because it's quite raggy. You will have to cut it, and that pipe gets a bit sharp, so it's nice to have an end piece on it like that. Good, okay, let's put the line in. So now the fuel line's in, I'm able to put the tank back up, and then we can move on to the rest of the heater install. This is the bracket I'll need to fit, and I will need to drill some big holes for the ducting to go through. So I'm going to have to take the seats out for that, and because I'm going to put a battery in, I will need to take the mat out as well to get my wire through from the front engine bay, so a fair bit of work to get going with. So this is the driver side step area without the plastic step. This is my template. For the inlet, you have to take it from the interior of the vehicle. So that's a template I have made for the hole to be in exactly the right place. I'll drill that through and then I'll get my location and drill the plastic step accordingly. And just under there, that's the carpet mat blocked up with some wood just to take it away from the floor. Roughly around there is where the hole goes for the hot air pipe. Okay, that's the 2 holes cut for the inlet and the heating outlet, and I've also cut the hole in the side step. I could fit the side step, but I'm going to clean it first. So we can now mount the heater. Okay, that's the heater mounted, just over there. Now I'm going to mount the fuel pump, and there's a nice little area for it just above in front of the AdBlue tank. So I've prepped it and put a riv nut in place. Not sure if you can see that. There it is. So I've got to cut the fuel line, and to do that I will use a knife rather than a pair of snips because I don't want to crush the pipe. So I will do that just now. Make sure you get the direction of the fuel in the correct way. Okay. Actually, before I take that, mount that completely, I will put it in place, but I'm going to be syringing some of the fuel through. So just imagine that's in its correct place now. Alright, so that's the fuel line completely in place. I sucked the diesel through with a syringe, and that is the wire also for the fuel pump. I had to shorten it. It was way too long, so I've put heat shrink butt splice connectors, and that should be sitting at a slight angle. I will adjust that. Okay, so that's pretty much all the wires run. I decided to run the controller for the heater up the B pillar, hence I had to take the seat belt all off, and I peeled the headlining back and I tucked the wire in through there up until the console with the light and so on, and we're going to put it in to this unit here. And it's quite nice actually, because I'm going to put a little panel on the inside and there's already a little shape there, so I'm just going to have to template that and just have a nice panel that I can screw the controller onto. Okay, here's the console for the headlining, and I'm going to make a little panel to go inside there. It's a plywood template, and this here is a piece of black, gloss black wood. That's the leisure grey ply. It's got a film over it just now, and that will go in there, and that's where I'll put the controller unit. So we're nearly done this job. Remember right at the start we had some broken plastic under trays. I have new ones now, and just before I fit them, you'll see that on these ones there's some cutouts for the side running bars. So I just need to cut these cutouts for the new panels, and then I can fit them underneath. Okay, now that I've got the console control set up, I can go back to the underside of the vehicle and put the exhaust on. I've prepped it, so that's a piece of exhaust pipe, that's the silencer, and that's just the tailpipe at the end of the silencer and the brackets that I need to fit. And just go under the van. So it'll go there and come out of this rather conveniently placed moulding on the underbody aluminium, and that's the hole I've just drilled for the mounting point. Nice new panels from VW, not too far off £100 each, so I will get busy with cutting these panels for the sidebars. Okay, now that the heater's pretty much finished, I need to give it some power. So I'm going to fit a leisure battery system. This is the passenger seat base and the battery, and some bits that I have prepared. It appears we are now ready to fit the leisure battery. I have prepped all the wires. I've cut some cables and put the ends on them, and I've routed all the heating wiring under the carpet. Okay, it appears now that we are ready for the battery installation. I have prepped some cables, and that's the CTEC charger. That's the charger you need. There are others available, but if it's sort of 2016 onwards, that's the one we need to fit. That's the seat base with all its brackets. That's the cable coming from the engine battery, and there are the cables for the heater routed under the carpet, and a couple of wires there. I've got an ignition sense wire and an earth to body wire there, which will be going into the CTEC charger. The other wires there were there already. They were for heated seats. Right, all good. The leisure battery is completely installed and the heater also completely installed, and it works as you can see. I did test it and it took 2 cycles and it worked on the second cycle just to bring the fuel through, so no drama there, all good. So next job is I have prepared these 2 seat back panels because the original plastic ones are not suitable for having the heater outlet on them, and it allows me to screw fuse into the back of the seat back panel on next to the leisure battery. So I will crack on with that. I'm going to fix them with Velcro. Okay, very nearly there. Just got to fit the front seats, and I've got to remember that they've got retrofitted heating elements in the seats, so I need to get the wires in the right way. So okay, so that's the full installation of this heater and leisure battery system on my friend's van. I will just bring it to you. Okay, so I had to put the leisure battery in, obviously. That is sitting there, fully clamped in. That's the fuse box for the heater. And I've left him a little tail in case he wants to put another fuse box in at some point, because obviously a big battery like that's going to be able to use to power other stuff. And under the driver's seat here, obviously we've got our outlet for the heat, and that's the faceplate there for it, and that's, again, that's on Velcro as well, so nice and easy to remove if you ever need to. And up on the headlining console, this is how the controller worked out. Since I've fitted this, he has added an interface so that he can control it from his mobile phone, and that works really well. I think that box cost him about £120, so well worth the convenience of having that, and the heater works absolutely fine. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this full installation, and do come back for more videos on David Campervan Man. Thank you.